Yeah, I think everyone does at a certain time when they're on the road, yeah. I mean, I've got a 2.5-month tour coming up, which takes me across 2 continents, and when I head back to America in July, I'm doing 24 shows in 28 days, 29 days. It's going to be intense. 12, 13 hours sometimes on a tour bus. And it does get lonely. But I'm very fortunate because I not only travel with my assistant, who's a dear friend of mine, but I travel with an agent, a warm-up DJ and a tour manager. So it's like 5 guys on the tour bus having a laugh. So, you know, when you do find yourselves in those moments where you miss everyone and you kind of get lonely, there's always someone to pull you out of that spot without you even knowing that you're in it. But yeah, it's kind of the end of the night when you're getting your head down. You do wish you was at your own bed and, you know, waking up, doing what you want to do. But that's part of the job. Yeah, what I do when I'm on long trips, and yeah, I do. People fly out and see us, or as I say, because one of my dear friends is the assistant when I'm on the road, so it's like having one of your best mates around with you anyway. So you know, it's in that respect, it's good. Well, I'm really close to my family, so I kind of miss my family. I miss my friends. You know, it's. I probably drive them mad because sometimes I ring them all up in the middle of the night, you know, and get them out of bed and talk to them. But I think they kind of understand the situation, and they kind of, you know, sometimes they tell me to fuck off. Sometimes they laugh their head off, and I tell them about, you know, what we've been up to. Yeah, no, I think she didn't. And my mum and dad always used to, especially my dad, was always asking me loads of questions. And I always used to feel like I was being interrogated. So I would never really tell him much. But yeah, I mean, my mum kind of figures it out. She's kind of knows what's going on, I suppose. They've come to some of the shows. It's difficult sometimes for them to be there. But you know, they've come along, yeah. I love going to museums. I was at the Louvre last week in Paris. Went there. Probably the same as other people shopping. You know, I mean, I'm certainly no different to no one else. Why I love travelling so much, because you get to learn through travelling. I found this amazing little record shop in Dublin a couple of weekends ago, and I bought all this U2 bootleg stuff. It's absolutely amazing shop. I don't know where they get it, and I didn't dare ask because it's obviously totally illegal. But they've got everything in there, even to the latest tour. I was like, bloody hell! So I'm happy. I've got all my new bits that I'm going to listen to on the plane. Well, first of all, I'm not the kind of person who goes back and reminisces. And maybe sometimes wrongly, I should have, because what I've done, that I'm now being older, I've looked back at, I wiped it all out of my brain. I was just not interested whatsoever in going back and thinking, oh, I've done this or we've done this. So there has been so much has gone on really over the past 10 years, and I've always been a forward thinker and embracing the future rather than the past. So when you say 10, there'll be little things that will crop up, but nothing of substance. I mean, I've never been a person to put an age on. Yeah, 8, I fell through the front door at my house. I did fall through the front door. My brother shut the door, had a pane of glass, and I ended up tripping over and fell straight through the pane of glass. What age that was, I don't know. Maybe 10, maybe 8, round about there. But no, at 10, my dad had always taught me, I was probably helping my dad out, actually, because my father was, worked for the Evening News, which was a rival paper to the Evening Standard. So we would, as I suppose sons do, they help their dad out on whatever their dad's doing. And again, we were no different. So I was probably in the news van helping my dad. Basically, I got into DJing for a friend of mine, Trevor Fung. He was pretty much a top DJ at the time, and we were all hanging out. So he was very instrumental in the start of me kind of DJing. I used to go to these shows where me and my friends were at the front, and there'd be Pete Tong was up there and Jeff Young and all these DJs, and I was just a clubber, just, you know, kind of a bedroom DJ, I suppose. And then it kind of really kicked off probably when we was doing a club in South London called The Project. Then from there, Ibiza, and it kind of steamrolled from there. I went on Tour U2, and started remixing, producing, record company. You know, things that have been quite well documented. Primarily, when I'm in DJing, yeah, because people end up ringing up, they find out where you are, they ring up, they want to get on the guest list. I've had strange situations where, you know, they find out, like after a club, people presume you're having wild parties, and then suddenly the phone is non-stop at 4, 5 in the morning. So yeah, usually I check in under pseudonyms. There was a name that I used to use for 2 years, George Best, the fifth Beatle. So yeah, I was George Best for quite a time, and I lived up to being Mr. George Best as well in some respects. He'd be proud of me, even though he's not a Chelsea supporter.